taking me home. For one thing, really do want. Say that you're the worst, but I don't know. Is that true?
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Jenny. Welcome. So in today's video, I'm super excited because I'll be testing out creating a makeup look and doing a review on the new Artistry Palette from James Charles in collaboration with Morphe. I got it right here. And isn't this box so freaking beautiful? And I already got my palette out, but once you got it out, I'm sorry, mine is already a little bit dirty because as you can see, I already created this makeup look using this palette. But this is what the palette looks like. It's a matte black and it has Morphe X James Charles in the front. And once you open it, it says right in the front, unleash your inner artist. So this is what the palette looks inside, and mine looks a little bit dirty already because I just used it to create this makeup look right now. So I'll be showing you some swatches of all the shades in the palette, and I'm also going to be creating this makeup look that you see right here. I try to use quite a few shades from the palette so that I can get a good idea on what I think of the palette, and so that I can give you my final thoughts, whether if it's worth it or not. So if you want to see all of that jazz, then continue watching. Okay, so we're going to start the swatches. Okay, so you just saw the swatches that I did. All beautiful colors, right? But I just want to point out that some of the shades, especially the matte ones, were very powdery when I finger swatched them. But I can tell you that once I went over the swatch, maybe twice or sometimes 3 times, the color blended out so beautifully. And I think that is something that we do with mattes. You know, you just don't place them on your eyes and don't blend them out, right? So just keep in mind that you shouldn't judge an eyeshadow just based on a finger swatch. You really have to see how they perform on the eyes to really see if it's a good eyeshadow or not. The shimmery normally tend to swatch better if they are pigmented enough, just because of the formula, I believe. But when it comes to mattes, they can be very tricky. And I know for a fact that, for example, the purple ones that I use, some of them didn't swatch that nicely, but you'll see in the tutorial that they actually perform really nicely on my eyes. And I can only speak for the eyeshadows that I use in the makeup look that you will see in a second, but I just wanted to point that out, that sometimes finger swatches don't necessarily say how an eyeshadow will perform. You really have to test them on your eyes, and just keep that in mind. But now let's continue with the makeup tutorial, and just so that you can see me trying out some of these eyeshadows. Okay, so the look that I have in mind, I want it to be somewhat colorful but still wearable, if you know what I mean. So let's see how it comes out. But looking at the palette, I really want to dig into this section right here, which is the pinks and purples. So I think that's the area where I'm gonna be playing the most. Okay, so I did watch his video in which he mentioned that he recommended to use an actual eyeshadow primer as opposed to concealer. I normally tend to just use concealer, but for the sake of this video, because it is the recommended method, I am going to use an eyeshadow primer. And I seriously don't even remember when was the last time I used an actual eyeshadow primer, and I was able to find this one in my collection. This is one by Too Faced Shadow Insurance Anti-Crease Eyeshadow Primer. So I'm just going to use this and hope that it works. I'm just applying this with my finger. Okay, I'm gonna start with the first shade, which is the Skipped. This hot pink, beautiful shadow on the corner. Let's see how this is. I really don't know how much to grab, but look how pigmented that is. That is insane, but we'll see how it applies. Ooh, that is really pigmented for sure. Okay, I'm gonna start by just placing this eyeshadow all along my crease. Okay, as you blend it out, I can see that the pigmentation is going down, but it's still very pigmented. Let's see if this pink doesn't stain my lids. Whoa, you guys, that is really bright. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 just for pigment. Because I really packed that eyeshadow in my eyelid, I really feel that I don't have to do much work when it comes to blending. I'm really holding my brush towards the end of the handle so that I can apply the most gentle pressure. I'm satisfied with how that looks so far. So let me add the next color. I really want to try this purple eyeshadow called Single, which is this one right here. Well, look at that. Again, it's really pigmented. Okay, I'm gonna apply this one just right here. I want to see how that one layers on top of the other one. I have to say it's not as intense as the pink one, but it's layering really nice. It doesn't look patchy. And I like how it's giving me that gradient effect color. This purple is honestly so pretty too. If I can tell you one thing is that I'm really impressed at how nicely these two shadows are blending together. Like this thing looks really smooth. I'm gonna leave that one alone, and the other shadow that I wanted to dig into is the one right above that it's called Love That. It's like a pink purple eyeshadow. It's this one right here. Look at that. Just take a second to appreciate how pigmented that is. I literally just place my brush really lightly on top of the eyeshadow pan. And yeah, I didn't even apply any effort. But one thing I do want to comment, I personally don't care much, but there is a little bit of kickback on the eyeshadow. But I know some people care about that. I personally don't. But I'm going to apply this one mostly here on the outer corner. Okay, that eyeshadow is really pretty. Can you see it right here? It's honestly so beautiful, but I am actually gonna switch to a different eyeshadow because that one is pretty close to the other purple that I use, so it's not really standing out. Instead, I'm gonna go into this really deep purple called Scape. It's this one right here. And I'm just gonna use that same smaller brush. Can you see how pigmented that is? That is insane. Okay, again, actually let me top off the excess. Yeah, you see this one makes more of a difference. I just want to intensify this outer corner a little bit more. I'll blend it out after with a bigger fluffy brush, but right now I just want to apply it just right here in the outer corner. Whoa, yeah, I really love that purple shadow. It's so pretty. So now that I placed that, I'm gonna grab a Morphe M532. It's just like a bigger fluffy blending brush with nothing on it, and just kind of like diffuse the eyeshadow a little bit. I'm kind of like blending everything out together. I'm really digging this color combination that I have on my eyes right now. Okay, so I'm really satisfied to how this looks so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the crease, and I'm just gonna use my Born This Way multi-use concealer by Too Faced. So now that I cut my crease, I'm gonna go into the Escape Deep Purple eyeshadow, and I'm just gonna blend out this area where the concealer and the eyeshadow meet. Okay, so now for my lid color, I'm gonna use this beautiful shade right here called Literally. It's this one right here. And it's supposed to be a really soft, like almost like an iridescent baby pink and peach color. So I'm not expecting this color to be bright or anything, but I think it's just gonna look so pretty with the rest of the pinks and purples going on in my eyes right now. I'm gonna move to use a smaller shader brush, and I did apply a little bit of Fix Plus in it just because that's what I do with my eyeshadows. This is just gonna help me to be more precise along the crease line. So at this point, I wasn't gonna use an additional shadow, but I am looking at this beautiful shimmery purple right here, so I'm gonna use it too. And this one, it's called Artistry, and I'm gonna apply that one just slightly in between the Literally and Escape, just right here, just to help transition those two colors a little bit better. Yeah, this one is not as pigmented, but still very pretty. And actually it works really nice for the purpose that I'm using it right now. Now I'm just gonna blend this out a little bit more with nothing else on my brush, just with whatever was left already. Alright, so I'm gonna actually work my lower lash line already, just because why not? And I'm applying a little bit of the same eyeshadow primer just in case. So I'm gonna grab a flat brush, and with this one I'm gonna first go into the hot pink Skip eyeshadow that we used first, and then I'm gonna use Single and a little bit of Escape. Damn, this bright pink, it's pigmented. It's seriously so pigmented. For lashes, I'll be using my Iconic by House of Lashes. Alright, so lashes are on, so let me go ahead and finish my foundation and the rest of my face, and I'll be right back. Alright, so hours later, I'm done with the rest of my face, and I put on some falsies and, you know, the whole thing. So I did want to do the last two steps with you on camera, and that is because I want to use an inner corner highlight from the palette, which, let me get you the name. Okay, Ring Light. I want to use this second shade right here in the top row. Ooh, that is pretty. Yeah, that is a really pretty shade. Do you see the difference from one eye to the other? honestly, you can never forget to do your inner corner highlight. And then the other thing I wanted to do is that I want to use this face champagne highlight that I see on the palette as an actual face highlight, just to test out how that one works, if it will be potentially a highlight that I would like to use. Okay, it's not as pigmented, maybe because I am applying it with a thin brush, so it is gonna give me a softer application. As I am packing it on more, it definitely pops even more. Whoa, do you see that? Yeah, that is a pretty highlight, but I'm really satisfied to how it looks. Just look at that. Ooh, that looks so pretty. Okay, so this is the final look. What do you think, you guys? I am seriously obsessed with how this makeup look turned out. I cannot tell you enough how much I love how this makeup look turned out. But now let's get to my thoughts on the palette. So all of the eyeshadows that I used for this makeup look, as you saw, blended out really nicely. They honestly are so pigmented, so buttery, and they were so easy to work with. I almost felt like they blended by themselves. I do have to say that, like I said at the beginning, I did use an actual eyeshadow primer, so I don't know if you didn't use one or if you use a concealer as an eyeshadow base, the eyeshadows will perform the same. Morphe and James do say that they recommend you to use an eyeshadow primer because of the formula of the eyeshadows. They tend to work better that way, so I just follow those instructions. So I really have no complaints. So the eyeshadows that I use, as you saw, so I pretty much use everything on this corner right here, and I also use that one, and this one. So I'm really pleased with how all those shadows worked out. I really love this eyeshadows. Another thing that I did want to point out is that there was one or two shadows that were not as pigmented. Like, for example, I can tell you about this one that I used. This light purple shimmery shadow wasn't as pigmented as the other ones, but the way I use it in my eyelid was actually perfect. So just know that maybe some of the eyeshadows might not be as pigmented, but they blend so easily. So I think you definitely get your money's worth. I mean, what else can I tell you? That's really what I think. I really love the palette. I think it is definitely worth it. So that's everything from me. I hope that this video was helpful if you were thinking in buying it, and if not, I hope that at least you enjoyed the tutorial, because this eye makeup look seriously is popping. I love it so much. So even if you don't have this palette, if you have some similar colors like this, I would love to see you recreate it. I really love this eye makeup look for sure. And yeah, that's everything from me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done that already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.